What if everything you believe is just what the herd wants you to believe? You're trapped in a prison built by people just like you, and you don't even see the bars. Most people live their entire lives as sheep, never questioning the shepherd. The most dangerous prison isn't made of steel, it's made of the herd's expectations. What if the crowd you follow is actually leading you to your destruction? Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most provocative philosophers in history, didn't just challenge old ideas. He tore down the foundations of morality and society as we know them. His fierce critique wasn't just about abstract philosophy. It was a call to arms for every individual to break free from the shackles of the crowd. In today's video, we'll dive deep into Nietzsche's dark warning about herd mentality, that dangerous force which strips away your freedom, creativity, and even your soul. You'll learn what herd mentality really means, why Nietzsche saw it as a threat to greatness, and how it silently shapes your life even now. But more importantly, this isn't just a critique. It's a roadmap, a challenge to rise above the masses, to think for yourself, and to find a path that is truly your own. Nietzsche said, "The herd wants you to be safe, but safety is the death of the soul." Are you ready to face the truth and fight for your individuality? Let's uncover the brutal truth about herd mentality and why Nietzsche's message still burns as fiercely today as it did over a century ago. What is herd mentality? Herd mentality, sometimes called groupthink or mob mentality, is the natural human tendency to follow the majority, adopting the opinions, behaviors, and values of the group to which we belong. This instinct isn't simply about social comfort. It's deeply rooted in our evolutionary history. For early humans, sticking with the group meant safety from predators and a better chance of survival. While this made sense in a primal context, in modern society, this same instinct can become a trap that limits individuality and freedom. In everyday life, herd mentality subtly influences countless decisions. From the clothes we wear to the opinions we hold, the pressure to conform is often invisible but powerful. Think about how trends spread rapidly on social media, how political opinions tend to cluster around majority views, or how cultural norms often discourage questioning. People follow the herd because it feels safer and easier than standing alone. But this safety comes at a cost. When you conform to the herd, you surrender your ability to think critically and make independent choices. The herd rewards behaviors like obedience, agreement, and sameness, while punishing difference and dissent through social exclusion or ridicule. The fear of being alienated keeps many trapped in patterns of thought and behavior they never consciously chose. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche warned fiercely against this phenomenon. He believed that herd mentality fosters what he called slave morality, a set of values created by the masses to promote security and mediocrity over strength and individuality. Slave morality praises humility, conformity, and obedience, suppressing ambition, pride, and rebellion, qualities Nietzsche associated with master morality, which embodies self-assertion and creativity. According to Nietzsche, the herd's values are designed to keep individuals weak and dependent. They prioritize comfort and safety over growth and risk. The herd mentality dulls the soul, making people satisfied with the familiar and fearful of the unknown. It encourages people to avoid challenging the status quo, leading to a society where real greatness and innovation are rare. Psychologically, herd mentality thrives on fear of isolation, failure, and rejection. It creates an environment where group harmony is valued above truth, discouraging honest debate and critical thinking. This leads to groupthink, where people make poor decisions simply to maintain consensus. The impact isn't only personal. Entire societies can fall victim to herd mentality, which can fuel mass hysteria, propaganda, and the suppression of individuality and dissent. History shows countless examples where blindly following the crowd led to disastrous outcomes. Understanding herd mentality is the first step toward breaking free. It doesn't mean rejecting all social norms or isolating oneself, but rather becoming aware of when your beliefs and actions are truly your own, and when they are imposed by the crowd. In the next section, we'll explore Nietzsche's deeper critique of herd mentality and why he challenged individuals to rise above it, to become creators of their own values and paths. Friedrich Nietzsche's critique of the herd mentality is one of his most radical and enduring contributions to philosophy. To Nietzsche, the herd is not merely a social group. It represents the masses whose collective values suppress the individual's potential for greatness, creativity, and self-overcoming. His philosophy is a fierce challenge to anyone willing to reject mediocrity and strive for authenticity. Nietzsche observed that the herd prefers comfort, safety, and sameness. This preference shapes what he called slave morality, a value system that arose as a response to the domination of the masters or strong individuals. Slave morality emphasizes virtues such as humility, meekness, patience, and sympathy. It is designed to keep the weak comfortable by promoting equality and discouraging ambition or power. Nietzsche explains in On the Genealogy of Morality, the slave revolt in morality begins when resentment itself becomes creative and gives birth to values. The resentment of those who are impotent and downtrodden. This resentment, a deep-seated resentment by the weak towards the strong, forms the basis of herd morality. The herd envies strength, power, and individuality, so it defines those qualities as evil and elevates weakness and conformity as good. This inversion of values suppresses natural instincts for growth and dominance. The herd's collective morality is, in Nietzsche's view, life-denying. It rejects the idea of self-overcoming, the process of continually transcending oneself and one's limits in favor of preserving the status quo. The herd fears change and rebellion because both threaten its stability. Nietzsche contrasts this with master morality, which originates from the strong-willed, the creators of values, the Overmen, Übermensch. Master morality values strength, courage, pride, and creativity. It embraces life's challenges and struggles as opportunities for growth. Nietzsche writes in Beyond Good and Evil, the noble type of man experiences itself as determining values. It does not need approval. It passes the judgment. What is injurious to me is injurious in itself. The herd, on the other hand, rejects this self-affirmation. It seeks to diminish the exceptional, enforcing uniformity to protect its fragile comfort. This explains why the herd often punishes those who stand out, the innovators, rebels, and visionaries who challenge conventional morality. For Nietzsche, the herd's influence extends beyond individual behavior to shape entire societies. He saw democracy, socialism, and organized religion as expressions of herd mentality, systems that prioritize equality and collective comfort over individual excellence and freedom. He famously criticized democratic ideals as promoting the tyranny of the mediocre, where the desires of the many suppress the potential of the few. Nietzsche's critique is not just about the herd's values, but also about the psychological mechanisms it uses to maintain control. Herd mentality fosters fear, fear of isolation, criticism, and failure. People cling to the herd for belonging, which leads to self-censorship and suppression of authentic desires. Nietzsche's "Thus Spoke Zarathustra" highlights this struggle vividly. The greatest event of recent times, that God is dead, that the belief in the Christian God has become unbelievable, is already beginning to cast its first shadows over Europe. And we are the first to feel these shadows. The death of God represents the collapse of traditional, absolute values. Nietzsche saw this as both a crisis and an opportunity. Without universal morals imposed by religion, the herd struggles to maintain cohesion through its established moral codes. This moment demands that individuals create their own values, yet many retreat into herd conformity to avoid existential loneliness. Nietzsche's challenge to his readers was clear. Break free from herd mentality by becoming the Overman, an individual who transcends societal norms, creates personal values, and embraces life's inherent suffering and chaos. He writes in "Thus Spoke Zarathustra," "Man is something that shall be overcome. What have you done to overcome him?" This call to self-overcoming is not an easy path. It demands courage to stand against the crowd, to endure isolation, and to face the abyss of uncertainty. But for Nietzsche, it is the only way to achieve true freedom and greatness. Nietzsche's critique also addresses the herd's use of slave revolt tactics. The herd's moral framework, which glorifies weakness and condemns strength, is a form of psychological warfare against exceptional individuals. The herd seeks to level differences through moral judgments, turning strength into sin and conformity into virtue. This inversion creates a society where mediocrity is protected and excellence is punished. Nietzsche warns that this leads to cultural stagnation, where innovation and progress are stifled by the demands of equality and safety. In conclusion, Nietzsche's critique of the herd is a warning against the loss of individuality and the dangers of conformism. It is a passionate call for self-mastery, creativity, and the rejection of imposed values. The herd wants comfort and sameness. Nietzsche wants challenge and growth. In the next section, we will explore the real costs of conformity on both the individual and society, the psychological and social toll that herd mentality extracts. The cost of conformity. Conforming to the herd may feel safe and comfortable, but Nietzsche warns that this safety comes at a profound cost: the loss of individuality, creativity, and ultimately the soul itself. When people surrender to herd mentality, they trade freedom for comfort, sacrificing their unique spark and true potential. Psychologically, conformity stifles independent thought and self-expression. The relentless pressure to align with group norms forces people into self-censorship, fear of judgment, and anxiety. Individuals start doubting their instincts, preferences, and values, replacing them with the herd's expectations. This internal conflict often leads to a sense of emptiness or disconnection from one's authentic self. Nietzsche described this slow death of the spirit when he said, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe." He understood the tension between personal authenticity and social pressure. When the tribe wins, the individual becomes a mere echo, repeating the crowd's beliefs and behaviors without reflection or originality. On a social scale, herd mentality breeds mediocrity and stagnation. Societies that prioritize safety, conformity, and sameness over excellence and innovation risk losing their vitality. Dissenters and visionaries, those brave enough to challenge the status quo, are marginalized or punished while conformity is rewarded. This dynamic prevents cultural growth and meaningful progress. The herd's suppression of difference also breeds resentment and envy. Nietzsche called this bitter reaction ressentiment, a deep hostility harbored by the weak against the strong or exceptional. This resentment fuels moral systems that glorify weakness and vilify strength, reinforcing conformity and suppressing greatness. The mental health toll is real. Modern psychology shows that suppressing individuality to fit in increases stress, depression, and feelings of alienation. Herd mentality creates a paradox. People are physically connected, yet emotionally isolated, afraid to show their true selves for fear of rejection. This emotional isolation creates a profound loneliness, even amid crowds, making genuine connection impossible without authenticity. Moreover, herd mentality discourages risk-taking and experimentation. Fear of failure or judgment leads many to avoid challenging ideas, novel pursuits, or uncomfortable truths. This stagnation applies to individuals and cultures alike, where the drive for conformity suffocates innovation and spiritual growth. Nietzsche's warning is clear. The cost of conformity is not just personal misery, but the erosion of human potential. He urged us to resist the herd's pull and embrace the difficult path of self-overcoming and authenticity. As he powerfully declared, "The herd wants you to be safe, but safety is the death of the soul." Understanding this cost is essential before embarking on the journey of breaking free. In the next section, we'll explore Nietzsche's vision of how to escape the herd and create your own path, the path toward becoming the Overman. Finding your own path. Breaking free from herd mentality is no easy task. Nietzsche understood that the pull of conformity is strong and that the path to individuality demands courage, strength, and relentless self-examination. Yet he insisted that true freedom and greatness are only possible when you refuse to be a mere follower of the crowd, when you choose to forge your own path. Central to Nietzsche's vision is the concept of the Übermensch, or Overman. The Overman is not a perfect being or a superhero, but a symbol of human potential, someone who has risen above herd mentality and created their own values, morals, and meaning in life. The Overman embraces life in all its chaos and uncertainty and continuously strives for self-overcoming. Nietzsche presents this idea most vividly in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, where Zarathustra, his philosophical prophet, calls on humanity to transcend itself. Man is something that shall be overcome. What have you done to overcome him? This call challenges us to reject complacency and mediocrity. It invites us to confront our limitations, fears, and inherited beliefs, and to become the creators of our own existence. The Overman is a radical individualist who does not accept morality handed down by the herd, but questions and redefines it. Nietzsche also believed that this journey requires embracing struggle and suffering. The herd seeks to avoid pain at all costs, preferring comfort and safety. The Overman, in contrast, recognizes that growth comes through challenge and hardship. Nietzsche wrote in The Birth of Tragedy, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." This attitude is essential because the path away from the herd is lonely and difficult. It means breaking social conventions, risking rejection, and standing apart from the crowd. But it is precisely in this discomfort that the Overman finds strength and meaning. Finding your own path means cultivating self-mastery, the ability to govern your thoughts, emotions, and actions rather than letting the herd dictate them. It means developing a strong will to power, not in the sense of domination over others, but as the power to assert your own life and values. Nietzsche urged us to live authentically, embracing our unique nature and desires, rather than denying them to fit societal expectations. He was critical of herd virtues like meekness and humility when they serve to suppress true self-expression. Practically, this means questioning everything, traditions, morals, beliefs, and asking, does this serve my growth? Does it reflect my true values? If not, then courage is needed to reject those inherited norms and chart a new course. Importantly, Nietzsche's Overman is not a solitary tyrant, but a creator. Creativity, in art, philosophy, life choices, is a vital part of escaping herd mentality. It's about designing your life as a work of art, with intention and passion, rather than living passively under imposed rules. Nietzsche also challenges the common idea of happiness as comfort or pleasure. For the Overman, true fulfillment lies in growth, self-overcoming, and embracing life's complexities, including its suffering. This deeper form of joy is not easy to find, but is infinitely more rewarding. To embrace Nietzsche's path, you must be willing to face the abyss, the existential void left by the death of God and traditional values. This void can be terrifying, but it also offers freedom to build new meaning from the ground up. Nietzsche's call is a call to radical responsibility. You are the author of your values and your life. This responsibility can be daunting, but is ultimately liberating. In today's world, where social pressure and herd thinking often dominate, Nietzsche's message is more relevant than ever. Breaking free requires daily courage to say no to conformity, to think independently, and to live authentically. So, are you ready to step off the path worn by the herd? To embrace discomfort, uncertainty, and the challenge of becoming your own creator? Nietzsche's Overman is not a destination, but a continuous process, a lifelong journey of self-overcoming and personal revolution. Nietzsche's warning about herd mentality is more than a critique. It's a call to awaken. The cost of conformity is high, and the herd's safety comes at the price of your soul's freedom. But within this challenge lies the greatest opportunity to become who you truly are. Throughout this video, we've explored the dangers of herd mentality, the subtle ways it suppresses individuality, creativity, and courage. We've seen how Nietzsche exposed the herd's desire to keep us safe and obedient, how it inverts values to favor weakness over strength, and how it silences the voice of the exceptional. Yet Nietzsche's philosophy is not despair. It is a fiery invitation to rise above, to become the Overman, a person who creates their own values, embraces life's struggles, and constantly overcomes limitations. The path is difficult, lonely at times, and demands immense bravery, but it is the path to true freedom. In a world that often rewards conformity and punishes difference, Nietzsche's message stands as a beacon for those willing to question, to rebel, and to forge their own destiny. He asks us, what have you done to overcome yourself? This is your challenge today, to look beyond the safety of the herd, to embrace uncertainty and discomfort, and to begin the lifelong journey of self-mastery and authenticity. Remember, the herd wants you safe, but safety is the death of the soul. Are you ready to break free? To reject the crowd and stand alone if necessary? To create your own meaning in a world without guarantees? The choice is yours, and your life depends on it. Like the video, share it with friends if it benefits you, and don't forget to subscribe.